asking enough. DJs BrewTube mixed drink now too. Well, you see we got a boatload of ingredients in front of us today, so you're probably suspecting, DJ, your missus has been behaving herself lately, so it's time for you to make her a libation. Hell yes, you know how it rolls in this house. I gotta do my husbandly duty, don't I? And what are we gonna make for her today with this boatload of awesome ingredients? We're gonna make her homemade pumpkin spice latte cream liqueur. That's freaking awesome. That's right, you know why? Because the missus, she's loving the Baileys, and she's loving my coquito that I make. And you know you've seen our good buddy Johnny the stunt drinker, our resident stunt drinker that is, make Baileys as well. Check out those videos. If I remember, I'll put some links down in the notes section along with the ingredients and the full recipe and how-to, like always. Anyways, what do we got for ingredients in this? Well, we've got a ton of spices to mimic that pumpkin spice latte flavor that everyone seems to love these days, or that pumpkin pie flavor that people are just digging. I don't know, it's like everywhere, it's ubiquitous. So, what do we got going on here? Well, we've got our ground spices. We've got cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, allspice, and ginger. They're the big ones. Then after that, we're going for some wet ingredients. We're going to have vanilla extract. We're going to have, let's see, what is it, molasses, and also we're going to put some instant coffee in this that we're going to hydrate to give it that latte flavor, that coffee kick in the background. You also may remember that we do that with Baileys too, but to a lesser extent. This is going to be more pronounced. So, the base of this, you know, besides the liquor, which is awesome, I'm using some rum and some Canadian whiskey in it this time, so the rye spiciness comes out, and also like the caramel flavors of the gold rum, you know, meld in there and give it that like sort of spicy yet creamy texture, and don't take the place of or amplify too much this ton of spices we're going to put in here already. So, now, based on this is our condensed and evaporated milk, as well as our eggs, which we already have in the blender. And our pumpkin here. This is fresh pumpkin puree that I roasted. You don't have to do that. You can get a can of it and use that, but I like this. I roasted this, and I prefer it that way. So, what do we got to do first? First, we got our eggs up here in our blender, and we're going to put our spices into it, and we're going to get those happy and mix those together. That's how we start our base. Then after that, we add our milk in, and then we add our, our pumpkin, and then after that, we add our liquor. So you see, we're kind of building this up as we go along. So what do we have for spices in here? We've got an 1/8 teaspoon of clove, nutmeg, allspice, and ginger. Then we have a full teaspoon of cinnamon and a pinch of kosher salt. So we're going to pop that in here. Boom. That gets to go swimming and get happy. We put our lid on our blender. I'm going to mix this up, and after this is all done mixing and getting happy, I'll be back with you. And what for you will be a flash. See you then. Okay, gang, I'm back. You see, I have a can and a pot of hot water here. Why do I have that? This is our condensed milk. I put this in a little bit of warm water, not too hot, not boiling or anything, for about 5 minutes. And what that does is it kind of like reforms the condensed milk in there, and it makes it smooth and easy to pour, so we get it all out of the can. That's a little quick tip for you. And let's get back to making this drink. That's right. Time to have some fun. All right, folks, we got our eggs all beaten up, and as you saw in the previous shot, we're getting our condensed milk, you know, a little bit warmed up so we can pour it in here real easy. Now, in this bowl, I've mixed together our wet ingredients and our rehydrated coffee. So we've got 2 tablespoons of molasses, we have 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and we have 4 teaspoons of instant coffee, or you can use espresso powder, you could use like say Starbucks Cafe Via if you want a few of those packets, whatever you want to do to make a strong coffee flavor. So we're going to do something pretty complex with this. We're going to pour it in the blender. That's right. After we pour it in the blender, what are we going to do? We're going to mix it up. Wow, this is hard, right? Yeah, making mixed drinks isn't difficult. A lot of folks like to say, oh, you got all these steps or whatever. It's just a few steps in preparation, and you can make something really awesome, better than you can buy at the store. So, we'll get this mixed up, and I'll be back in a flash. Okay, gang, just to review a little bit, we've got our 4 eggs, our spices, and our liquid flavorings, our vanilla, molasses, and our coffee extract. So, what are we going to do now? Now we're going to put in our 2 cups or 16 ounces of roasted pumpkin, or you can get canned pumpkin if you wish. But you want to do 15 to 16 ounces. I believe the cans out there, a lot of them are 15 ounces. That'll work just fine. I mean, you know, if you're off 1 ounce, I don't think you're going to be suffering or missing pumpkin flavor. So, got that in there. Now what are we going to do? You know the drill. We're going to mix this in. We're doing it step by step, incrementally. So, I'm going to hit this, get it going, and I'll be back when this is done. See you in a second. All right, I'm back. all mixed up. Smells like pumpkin pie filling actually when you smell it, just darker because we got those coffee aromas and everything going on. So first, we're going to put in our evaporated milk. This one pours in nice and easy. You can use fat-free if you want on this as well if you're looking to control some calories. But what I always say when you're going for stuff like this, I mean, what's the point of going fat-free? Because we're this is a holiday sort of maybe celebratory kind of drink. Now look, see how easy our condensed milk pours in since we've had it out of our hot water? We get the whole can in, no fuss, no problem. So, what are we going to do now? You know the drill. It's time to give it another buzz in the blender. I'll be back when this is done so you don't have to listen. Back in a flash. Okay, gang. Got another step down. Finally, the piece de resistance, the best part. Of course, the booze. Booze makes everything better, doesn't it? Shake your head. Yes, that's right. So, in this jar, what do we have here? We have 1 cup of Crown Royal or Canadian whiskey. Remember, you guys can use bourbon, you can use Irish whiskey, whatever you want. This is your product, your creation. You can do it how you wish. I like this mix. And I've got 3/4 of a cup of gold rum. I like the nice caramel notes and the oaky woodiness that comes out of that and that sweetness that's inherent to it. So basically we've got 1 3/4 cups of alcohol. So we're going to pour that in. Remember, not very complex stuff. As you can see, with each step this is lightening up and is coming basically to the color of a pumpkin spice latte. So we're going to give this a whirl, and after it's done, I'll be back with the results. See you then. All right, folks, I'm back. Now it's time for a really important step. We've got everything blended together and happy here. We need to take the cover off and give it a little taste. Why do we need to do that? 1, we want to know what it tastes like when we serve it. And 2, because we're using a natural product in here, pumpkin. You never know how much kind of inherent sweetness that pumpkin is going to have. And sometimes, especially when you put coffee in here, since I've made this before, when you put coffee in here, you got to put a little bit of simple syrup or maybe a little bit of brown sugar in here to balance off that and bring it up to the sweetness level that you expect. So let's take a taste of this, see what we got going on. That tastes pretty good to me. What I'm going to do, and I suggest you guys do maybe also, when this sits overnight, the flavor changes and intensifies and integrates, and sometimes more of the sweetness that's in there comes out. What you may find is, after you bottle it, which will be our next step, you want to bump up the sweetness with a little simple syrup. So I always fill my bottles to about here, a little bit just above just going into the neckline here. So I have a little space for some simple syrup if I want to put that in there. So we're going to get our funnel here. We're going to put it on top of our bottle. We're going to do some more super technical stuff here. We're going to pour it in the bottle. See, really simple and easy. Makes an awesome presentation, by the way, on these bottles. You can put a label on here. You can put a bow. You can get fancy. Do whatever you want because, like I said, it's your product. So, we got this done here. I'm going to finish this other one, and I'll be back, and I'll take a taste of the product in the glass after this chills some because that also changes the flavor, and we'll see you then. Okay, gang, I'm back. We got our stuff bottled up, and here's our friends, our ingredients that made lovely 2 750 ml bottles of our homemade pumpkin spice latte cream liqueur. And here we have just enough extra for the bartender, chef, whatever you want to call yourself. You're the creator today, that's right. So let's get an aroma on this and a taste and see what we're getting into with this lovely libation. Man, it smells like straight up pumpkin pie. Up in your face first is a nice, sweet, pumpkin-y, gourdy aroma. Then after that, I'm getting cinnamon, nutmeg, a bit of caramel, vanilla, burnt sugar from the molasses, a bit of that clove spice, and also resounding coffee tone in the background. Man, this smells delicious. I'm diving in. It's nice and cool. Let's see what it's like. Cheers. Wow. Why did you say I had to take 2 drinks of that? This is like liquid pumpkin pie filling, just not as sweet. It's like eating some pumpkin pie and then having your coffee with it. When you put the molasses in there, it almost gives it like sort of that crusty sort of taste because of the burnt notes that are in the molasses. And I really like how the caramel that's in this gold rum and the rye spiciness of that Canadian whiskey play off one another and play really well with the spices. As this sits, I think the flavors integrate and it gets even tastier. I would recommend when you make this, try to make it 2 days in advance. You can drink it now like I am. And it's perfect. I mean, it tastes really delicious, but it gets even better with a couple days setting or even a week. of setting. Because remember, you know what? You keep it refrigerated and all those flavors amalgamate over time and the spices blend in with the liquor and everything. And this is a really dangerous drink. You cannot taste the booze in this. You get a little bit of warming going down, but there's no booze on the aroma and there's almost no booze in the taste at all. It's really subtle and there's nearly 2 cups of liquor in this lovely libation. So if you guys want to try this, and you do, please let me know. I love to know what you think of these recipes. And remember, when you're making this, it's up to you. You can put more coffee in it. You can put more booze in it. You can put more sweetness in it. This is purely a guide for you to go on your kind of mixed drink adventure here. And, you know, you can do it too. It's not that hard. It's not daunting. And the product you get out of this is less expensive. And it's also way better than the prepared product. Yeah, sure, you can buy pumpkin pie liqueur for about, like, you know, what is it, $10, $11, $12, maybe up to $20, depending upon the brand. But it doesn't taste anywhere near as good as this does. You don't have control of the ingredients. There's no guar gum in this. There's no modifiers. There's nothing in this that's not natural. And you have 100% control of what you put in it. So, for the next DJs BrewTube, thanks again to each and every one of you for watching. Remember, think globally, drink locally, and support the craft cocktail and craft beer movement. So, till then, I got nothing but a bunch of pumpkin spice latte, cream liqueur drinking love for you. And you know what's coming. That's right, a big ass, a big